Hello, Northgate freshmen. Your academic counselors and College and Career Center advisor are here with you today to go over your 4-year graduation plan from Northgate, as well as some Naviance tools. Before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that as we're going through the presentations, if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat box, and we'll try to either address it live or else we'll address it at the end of this presentation. So my name is Ms. Prosnick. I'm the College and Career Advisor. When we are back physically on campus, you'll be able to meet me in the library. I have an office there. Right now, you can find lots of information as it relates to college and career via my webpage. If you go from the Northgate main page, under resources, there's a link to the College and Career Center page. And I'm here today with our academic counselors.
Hi everyone, my name is Mrs. Owen. I work with students last names A through G. During distance learning, the best way to get a hold of me is through email. When we're back at school, you can find me in the library.
Hi everyone, I'm Mrs. Bly, and I work with students with last names H to O. The best way to reach me during distant learning is also through email. And then when we are back in school, my office is also in the library. And I look forward to meeting you soon, hopefully.
Hello, everyone. I am Ms. Kaur. I serve students with last names P through Z. And the best way to reach me is via email. And also another thing we wanted to point out, as Ms. Prosnick mentioned, our offices are located in the library. So when we return back at school, hopefully that is soon, you can find all of our offices as well as College and Career Center over in the library. And another thing I want to point out is for the academic counselors, we also have an academic webpage, which has some great resources for you, or you can always, of course, reach out to us. With that, I will pass it on to Ms. Prosnick.
All right, so today we'll be going over your 4-year plan. This will be your academic plan of what you need to complete in order to graduate from Northgate High School. Please know that as we put in this information, or you put in this information in your sheet, the plan is not set in stone. This is a flexible plan. You'll be working with your academic counselors over the next couple of years, but we want you to plan things out of how you can envision your high school career going. At the same time, we're also going to be going over A to G and college admission requirements. And these are specific classes that you need in order to meet the minimum requirements to be considered for college admissions. Now, when I say A to G requirements, these are specific to our California State University, CSU, and University of California, UC, systems. So our California State University systems use something called the A to Gs to make sure that you are eligible to apply into their systems. Other colleges may have their own requirements. You can see here 2 lists of course areas. We have our Northgate High School graduation requirements, which we'll go over in more detail. You can note there that all the classes must be passed with a D or better in order to graduate from Northgate. And so make sure that you are paying attention to your grades in all of these areas and meeting that minimum grade requirement in order to graduate. On the other side, you can see there's a list of our A to G college entrance requirements. Now, the great thing about our California State University system is our minimum academic requirements are actually pretty similar to most other college minimum requirements, with some exceptions, and we can always talk about that later. But one of the really big things that is required from every college out there almost is that your classes must be passed with a C or better to meet those minimum eligibility requirements to apply for college. If at any point in the next couple of years you find that you have gone below that C requirement or D requirement, please make sure that you reach out to your academic counselor to see what your options are. And I'm going to turn it over now to Ms. Bly, and we're going to go into all of this in a little bit more detail.
Okay, so let's get into your plans. So we are going to put a link in the chat. So if you all can go to the chat box right now, there'll be a link to make a copy of this 4-year planning worksheet. So I'm going to show you right now what it will look like. If you click on the link, you'll see a little blue box here and it says make a copy. So you want to click on that box. So here it is. This is what it looks like. And if you see at the top now, you have a copy and it'll live in your Google Drive. So you guys can change the title of this so you remember where to search for it in your Google Drive. You can put anything you want so that you'll remember. Okay, so we're going to go through this top portion of the worksheet. Okay, so if you look down at the bottom, you'll see there's a tab for graduation and college requirements. So you can always refer to this when you're filling this out. If you don't get everything completed today, you can just do this on your own time. And this is a guide for you to show you the requirements for graduation and for the A to G requirements. So first, what we're going to do, you guys, we're going to go through line by line, category by category. But first, we're just going to input your courses for 9th grade. So right now, you're going to go in this column, grade 9, and you'll see a little drop down arrow where you'll be able to select your classes that you're currently taking. So none of you are taking a social science at the moment, so you'll just skip down to English. And all of you guys are taking English 1, so you can go ahead and fill that in. Math, everyone's going to be a little bit different, so I'll let you select which math class you're in. Everybody is taking Living Earth, so you're going to select Living Earth. And a lot of you are taking a language, so go ahead and select the language you're taking. Some of you are taking an art class, so you might want to select which art class you're taking. And then the other class that all of you are taking is PE 9. So go ahead and just play around with it and fill in the rest of the classes that you're taking. And then I'll give you a minute to do that, and then we'll go into each of the A to G categories for the rest of the grade levels. Okay, so we're going to start with, and again, I want to remind you guys, this is not set in stone. Like Ms. Prosnick said, you can always go in and change things later, which often happens. This is also not how you're going to be selecting courses for next year. That is a separate process. So in a couple weeks, you're going to be getting a Google form to fill out to select class options for next year. So you'll be able to use your 4-year plan to help you with that. But of course, you can always, email one of your counselors to help you if you have questions. So first, we're going to go through category A, which is social science, history. And for Northgate, 3 years is required, whereas for the A to G, you actually just need 2 years. So as long as you're taking the 3 years required for Northgate, you're good on that category. So for 10th grade, I also wanted to point out that this is the first year you'll be able to take, 10th grade will be the first year you'll be able to take an AP class, which is a college level course. So when you're choosing your classes, you want to make sure if you decide to take an AP class, it's a class you're really interested in and it's a class you think you can do well in. And please note that we do have a 6 AP limit at Northgate. So you can take up to 6 classes throughout the course of high school. So first we'll start with 10th grade. So if you can go to the 10th grade line, you can choose between 3 different classes: World History, AP World History, and AP European History. And if you guys need more in-depth descriptions on these classes, you can find the course guidebook on the Northgate website. But I'm not going to go into detail about the descriptions of the classes because we don't have time. Okay, so moving on to 11th grade, you have 3 options: US History, AP US History, and American Threads, which is you take in conjunction with English threads. And And then for 12th grade, you will be taking 1 semester of government and 1 semester of economics. And you also have the choice to take AP. Another thing I wanted to note is that we do, if you want to learn more about AP classes, we do have an AP information night on February 9th at 7 o'clock. And that's the same night that we have the course information fair when we'll go over your course planning Google form. So I'll let you guys do that for a couple minutes. And I'm going to go on to the next category. And again, you guys can just work on this later if you don't finish it right now. Okay, so moving on to English, category B. For English, you need 4 years. So all of you are taking English 1 right now. 10th grade, you only have 1 choice. You'll take English 2. And then 11th grade, you will be taking English, or you have the choice to take English 3, AP English, or the Americans Thread class that I talked about that you take in conjunction with US history. It's kind of a fun class because you get to do projects, when we're in person. So 12th grade, you have 2 options. You can take English 4 or AP English. And so that's all for English. So I'll pass it over to Miss Kaur, who's going to cover math.
Hello, everyone. I will be covering areas C through F. So we'll start off with talking about math. So 3 years is required for our high school graduation requirement, and 4 years is recommended for 4-year colleges and universities. So for example, let's say as a 9th grader, currently you're all taking Algebra 1. Next year will be geometry. And then your junior year, you'll take Algebra 2 or Algebra 2/Trig. And then senior year, you'll take pre-cal or pre-cal honors. And if you're taking geometry this year, then you'll take Algebra 2 or Algebra 2 Trig in your sophomore year, and then pre-calculus or pre-calculus honors, and therefore. With that, another point I want to make here is for our mathematics classes, we have a lot of choices for you guys. We have stats, we have AP statistics if you want to challenge yourself further. And then there's also a class called personal finance. This is a great class, to learning how to manage your finances. However, it is not A through G. So what that means is for our 4-year colleges and universities, this is not counted toward that. However, it will count for your Northgate graduation requirements. And another note I want to point out is if you're looking for a further challenge, consider taking an honors class in the area you really enjoy. And just note that honors is not same as AP. And we will talk about that and explain that to you guys further later on. But at this point, just know that honors and AP are 2 different things. With that, we're going to move on to area D, and that is sciences. So we have a lab science. 2 years is required for Northgate graduation purposes, and 3 years is recommended for our 4-year colleges requirement. So this year, you should all be taking Living Earth, which is formerly known as biology. And then in 10th grade, you'll take chemistry chemistry of Earth. And then, or you can also challenge yourself by taking an honors chem course. We also have a number of science courses here that are, that we offer at Northgate. You can take that in your 11th grade or 12th grade. As I mentioned, 3 years is recommended for colleges, so your college application looks more appealing if you're interested in going into a career that requires more science, and these are some great courses to take. With that, we're going to move on to our area E, which is world language. So 2 years is required and 3 years is recommended. Once again, required is that you must take. Recommended means it is great if you take that additional number of years because it would be great for your college application. So for world languages, we offer Spanish, French, and German at Northgate. And if you're interested in taking a different language, let's say, for example, American Sign Language, there is an option to do that. However, we strongly recommend that you talk to your academic counselor about that and the process to taking the American Sign Language. Another note I want to make here is to meet the requirement of 2 years, you have to complete this requirement by getting through the second level of the course. So let's say Spanish 2. If you've, for example, let's say if you've taken Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, you have met the required 2 years. And then third level would be recommended. With that, where are we at? Okay, we are going to move on to our next slide, which is Area F, Visual and Performing Arts. So 1 year is required for that category. We have some exciting classes here. We have dance, drama, art, ceramics, film, stagecraft. A lot of these classes that our students truly enjoy, and you are required to take 1 year of this. And if you have any questions, once again, please feel free to reach out to your academic counselor, and we're here to best support you in meeting your career goals. With that, I will pass it on for Area G to Ms. Owen.
Hi, everyone. So I'm going to talk about your college prep elective. So for the A to G college requirements, you do need 1 full year of the same college prep elective. So what this entails is anything above and beyond your A through F categories. So if you decide to take 4 years of a science, that 3rd or 4th year can count towards your G college prep elective. We also have courses that are specific to just the G category, and you can see here we have a whole list of them. Leadership, AP Psychology, International Relations, Sports Medicine. These are all wonderful classes that you can take and fit into your schedule at some point during your high school career. So 9th grade year, you're going to have 6 classes. So if you can fit in a college prep elective that year, then go ahead and put it in. If it doesn't fit until 11th or 12th grade year, just kind of fill it into your chart where it fits, but just be sure and get in a college prep elective so you are college ready. So moving on to the next slide, we're going to talk about our non-A to G Northgate elective. So these classes are classes that do not count towards college. But you'll see a lot of our PE classes on this list, and the next slide we'll talk about PE, but there are some other classes that don't count for college readiness, and that's going to be your teacher aid classes, personal finance, work experience. So these are going to kind of fit in as well. If you're interested in taking them and you have a spot for them, go ahead and fill them in on your chart. And then moving on to the next slide, we're going to talk about PE. Again, these are required for graduation, but they're not required for your A to G. So Ms. Bly already talked about 9th grade, how you are taking PE 9 this year. And then you are required to take a 2nd year, and most of our students will take it in your 10th grade year. So that we have a lot of different options: team sports, aerobics, dance, weight training. These are all wonderful PE classes that you can take. Sometimes we have students that aren't able to fit a PE into their 10th grade year, maybe because they're in band or they're in leadership and it just doesn't fit with all their other academic classes. So if that's the case for you, please talk to your academic counselor, because there are some reasons for you to take PE 10th grade year if you don't pass your PE fitness test. So just be sure and talk to your counselor so we can make sure that you're meeting all those requirements. So by now, most of your charts should be filled out. I know we kind of moved a little bit fast, but just remember this isn't set in stone, and you can go back and change it at any point. Or if you want to meet with your counselor to kind of talk about it some more, we're here to meet with you and discuss it further. So right now we're going to take questions. So if you have a question, please put it in the chat and we can answer them as we go.
So in addition to going over your guys' 4-year plan, I also just wanted to point out some of the resources that are available to you as you look forward to your high school career and are interested in exploring more about colleges and career options. And Naviance is actually a great tool for you guys to use. In order to get into the Naviance app, You just need to go to the Northgate homepage. Under resources, you'll find a quick link to the Naviance Clever login. We log into Naviance via the Clever app. It makes it hopefully really easy for you because you'll click on the student teacher login. You'll enter in your mdusd.net email and password the same way you get into your Google Classroom. And then once you're in that Clever portal, you'll see that Naviance button. So hopefully that is an easy process. If you have, though, any problems, because sometimes they do come up, please feel free to email me and I can, and we can work through it together. And then next slide. So in Naviance, there are a bunch of really neat tools to help you, again, explore both college and career options. In 9th and 10th grade, I think it's a really good idea to start out exploring careers. And there's a couple of different assessments that you can use. There's the Strength Explorer assessment to help you really identify where your talents are. The Career Interest Profiler really helps you try to identify job environments that are good for you, or you can just put in a job that you might be interested in, and it'll bring up that job, a short description, how much you can expect to get paid depending on what state you're in, or you can just look at the national average, what sort of majors might be needed in order to go into that profession. And so it's a really neat place to start in looking at careers, and then also then knowing whether or not you do need to look for a college option for what it is you would like to do. Also in here, there's other tools such as creating a resume. It's really neat. I encourage you to go into Naviance and just play around with it. You can't break it, so it's a pretty cool tool to use. So explore it. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so please go ahead and explore and let me know if you have any questions. Just as a reminder, please don't forget that we also have the course selection information night on February 9th at 6 p.m. that will be followed up by an information night talking about AP classes as well as DVC concurrent enrollment. So if there are classes that you like to take at DVC, that is an option, and we'll be going over both options, and you can ask questions about both of those options to us as well. Thank you guys so much for listening to our presentation, and we are always here for you. So please reach out to us if you do have any questions or concerns.